Hey everyone, and welcome back to the stream. It is the end of the year. This is the last stream for 2023. Some big things on the way. Some things that we definitely know for sure. Some things that we just have to kind of keep an eye on because we don't know for sure exactly what's going on there. And we'll talk about it. Grab yourself a drink, say hi to your friends in the chat, and let's get started with today's live stream. Hey everyone, and welcome. Coming to you here from sunny Kutztown, Pennsylvania. It is a cold day today. Bundled up in my hoodie. I got a new Contempo Coding #medical coder hoodie. Look at this one. Very soft, very fun, very excited for it. Saying hi to some people here. Hello to Paulina, Susan. Hello, Lena. Party Weather, Xenia. Hello to everyone. I'm very curious to see how many people are going to tune in today because I have a suspicion that since it is 2:00 on the Friday before Christmas, that a lot of people have already left their office for the day and have clocked out and are doing last minute shopping. I sure as heck am not ready for Christmas yet. I think I still have some stocking stuffers to do. I mean, I'm as ready as I'm going to be, I guess. I still have wrapping. Anyway, if you are catching us on the replay, coming in here after the fact, hit me up with a #replay and let me know what your big takeaway is from this stream. Also, we will be time stamping the live stream. I know they go on for like an hour. I will have pertinent timestamps throughout the stream. And of course, feel free to come in and ask any questions that you may have as we are going through all of the news to be. Some exciting things going on. Some things that are a little not so sure, right? Okay. So let me talk today about I want to start out. If you're new here, I'm Victoria. I'm a medical coder, auditor, educator, content creator. And on my channel, I provide tips, tricks, and tutorials to help you be successful in a medical coding career. Planning for 2024, lots of exciting things on the way. December has been crazy, absolutely insane for me. I went from just like, oh, here I am. I'm going to start planning for 2024. And then, oh, wait, I got to get everything caught up because I'm about to leave for the AHIMA conference. And I love the AHIMA conference for the education. The conversations with my friends is some of my bonus, like the frosting on the cupcake part of being at that conference. So lots of great takeaways from the AHIMA conference, and then came back. One of the ladies that was sitting next to me on the plane on my way home from Charleston was coughing, and I was in this weird row where I couldn't put my personal item bag in the seat in front of me because it was just a wall. I had to store it up front, so I couldn't grab my mask so I could put one on to protect myself from the lady coughing next to me. So I wound up getting a head cold and then had to get on a plane in a few days. I put my mask on so I wasn't coughing in front of all the other people then on my way to Orlando, and then was off for a few days. So it's just been crazy. So I'm hoping to soon catch up. I don't want to be using the holiday weekend to catch up on doing reviews and practice things and all that, but I might have to. In any case, let's get into some of the coding news that's been going on. So what's been going on in the world of associations? Let's talk about that for a second. So AHIMA, a couple of people have asked, people ask me things about AHIMA from time to time. I'm not an AHIMA member. I don't have the CCS certification, so I can't really speak to the CCS certification. I don't know inpatient coding. It's been on my goal list for forever, and it keeps moving its way to the bottom to learn ICD-10 PCS. So some news going on with AHIMA. In case you missed it, AHIMA acquired a couple of organizations recently, HC Pro, which is Decision Health, the Association for Clinical Documentation Integrity Specialists, ACDIS, The National Association for Healthcare Revenue Integrity, which I'm not super familiar with, and the Association of Home Care Coding and Compliance, the AHCC. So AHIMA has acquired that team of things from HC Pro. They also have a new CEO. I saw recently there was an email that came out about that. AHIMA's getting a new CEO. I believe they're starting in January. But the big news with AHIMA is they had sent an email a couple of months ago saying like, oh, we're going to require the AHIMA members when they recertify that 40% of their CEUs came from AHIMA, and AHIMA members, again, I'm not one of them. I will disclose I do have an affiliate relationship with, I guess, Decision Health, because Select Coder is part of that team of stuff that they have there. Not an AHIMA member, do have an AHIMA micro-credential, but so they put out this email, 40% of your CEUs for recertification, they were going to require come directly from AHIMA. I've not taken AHIMA educations before, so I can't speak about like if they're good, but it was very telling, I think, to me that no AHIMA members were like, oh, well, the education that comes directly from AHIMA is so incredibly amazing that I don't really care because I was going to buy that anyway. The feedback from more AHIMA members was, hey, why are you making us pay for these CEUs as a part of your membership? I guess AHIMA members only get like a couple of CEUs included in their membership a year. So this was very cost prohibitive for members. So they became very vocal about their opinions regarding these 40% requirement. AHIMA took a look at it, and the commentary from the members and said, hey, we'll push this back for a year. So we'll see what becomes of that. I could understand it staying if AHIMA is going to say, hey, we're as part of this, we're going to make it easier and include more CEUs as part of your membership. But I think where the conflict lies is that AHIMA members, they want the variety. They want to be able to pick and choose where and who they get their CEUs from, because there might be certain things that appeal to them specifically in what their job roles are, right? But also because oftentimes those other CEUs that don't come directly from AHIMA are more cost effective, because AAPC CEUs can be used for AHIMA. AHIMA accepts all of AAPC CEUs, so you can get AAPC CEUs for next to nothing a lot of times, chapter meetings and all that stuff. So more to come on that. Definitely something to keep an eye on and make sure that AHIMA is really listening to their membership, because when you're a membership-based organization, you don't have anything without your members, like, right? David's coming in here with super chat. What do you think of the book Medical Billing and Coding for Dummies by Karen Smiley? One of my friends told me that she knows that lady. I was Allison, I think I was talking to the other day, and she said, yeah, I know. Medical Billing and Coding for Dummies. I can't remember if I have that one. I've done medical terminology for dummies, which is pretty good. But I've not heard anything super negative about the Medical Billing and Coding for Dummies. I'm sure one of my concerns about the books that are sort of generalized like that is how up to date they're keeping. Anything that you can use as a supplement, though, is good. I would say don't rely on that as your sole purpose of training for medical coding. I prefer the Bucks books, the step-by-step books. Those are great. But if it's working for you, it's working for you. Like anything you have that takes away one more thing is great. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Party Weathers. I have heard a rumor that the CPC exam was going to be fill in the blank in 2024. Is this true? I truly hope not. They are testing, including some keyword, some fill in the blank questions for the CPC exam. As far as how many, when, who, where, that is yet to be seen. It is not going to be an entirely fill in the blank question. If we look at what's already going on with the CIC, Certified Inpatient Coder certification, it does have a small percentage, like I think 7 to 10 questions, something like that, that are fill in the blank. Excuse me. So It would follow suit and be reasonable, I think, that the rest of the certifications to the AAPC may have a small amount of fill in the blank questions. That may also change the overall number of questions on the exam. So they might go down to, 92 questions, and then 7 of them are going to be fill in the blank because they take more. Remains to be seen, but that is something that I feel we'll likely see in 2024. I know they said something about changing the materials and practice exams to include fill in the blank. I haven't had a chance really to dive that deep into it. Yeah, Kari, that's an excellent point. I think coders don't necessarily mind paying for CEUs, but it should be their choice. We are spending time and money to stay up to date. Absolutely, yeah. I don't mind paying for CEUs. Like, I paid a ton of money to go to the AHIMA conference because I love the information that I get at that particular conference. I get CEUs that are specific to my auditing credential. But if it was just I had to pay for CEUs for something that I didn't have interest in, or I looked at the library and I'm like, none of this applies to me, I would be very upset. I would be very upset. Have you heard of the new documentation requirements for G2211? I know a little bit about G2211. If you guys want me to put together a video for that, I am absolutely happy to cover that. I know I've gotten some updates lately. I think AHIMA actually just put out a little sheet. So I can definitely look into that. I don't want to present anything yet though if it's not solidified, because at last I heard of G2211, there's still a little bit of uncertainty there as far as requirements, but maybe I'm thinking of payment. If you pay for them, they should be tax deductible. If you're a business owner, they are. I tax deduct a lot of things. I've heard people though that tax deduct way more than I do. I've heard limos and Botox and all that, and I'm like, no. Like the furthest I've gone is I've tax deducted the makeup that I have specifically in this office that I use for like touch-ups. Like if I'm going on video and I'm like, oh my gosh, my mascara's messed up, like I have a little emergency makeup pack. Like that's the furthest I've taken it. And like sweatshirts, like logo stuff. Okay. I want to talk about the AAPC updates since we were on the subject of the CEUs and we were on the subject of the fill in the blank questions, because there's some things going on with AAPC. So first off, the announcement was made yesterday, and I did notice this as I was perusing some of the information for the speakers for HealthCon. I noticed one person said something about like, oh, I work for formerly Healthcare Business Monthly and now AAPC the magazine. So AAPC has a magazine for its members that comes out every single month. It was originally called Coding Edge, and then it became Cutting Edge, and then a few years ago it was changed to Healthcare Business Monthly. And now it's changing yet again to AAPC the magazine, which is cool because it's definitely like the magazine for AAPC members. I do have this little spidey sense tingling though. Like my spidey sense is tingling when I see that, and I'm like, are we dropping healthcare business? And if we are, why? Because like that knee-jerk reaction, again, not just like not like saying this is it, but like that spidey, like that little question mark is popping up in the back of my head going, are we doing this because we're not just going to be healthcare business anymore? We're going to be whatever we can make money off of and sell to our members. So we're just calling it AAPC the magazine now so that we can expand beyond healthcare business. Like that's where my mind is going. That's where my mind is going. Which could be totally not the case at all, but that's what my spidey sense is tingling on. AAPC the movie, says John. Oh my gosh, that would be something. I'm mad at the AAPC right now for the weirdest reason. So they had a Christmas special. Or no, it wasn't even a Christmas, it was a Black Friday special where you could renew your webinar or buy a new webinar subscription and they would give you a free AAPC beanie, and it wouldn't take it online. And I called in and I'm like, hey, I want the free AAPC beanie webinar deal. And they're like, oh yeah, hold on. And they put me on hold for like 30, 40 minutes. Couldn't figure out how to get the beanie added. Said they'd call me back. Never did. I called again the next week. They gave me a case number. And like 2 weeks later, like my webinar subscription had already just automatically renewed. So now I'm not getting an AAPC beanie and I'm very upset. So if anyone from the AAPC is watching this, you owe me a beanie. At least a beanie. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, in other AAPC news, there is a blackout period for exams, and I don't know that this is being I'm like, I didn't see it on the website anywhere, so I don't know where they are pushing this information out, that it's supposed to go out to everyone, but I have not really seen this pushed out a lot. Maybe it's going to students, I don't know. But I did call the AAPC the other day to confirm there is a blackout period. No one can take any AAPC exams, in person, remote proctor, anything from January 1 to January 14. Like nothing. So January 1 to January 14, no one's allowed to take exams. Again, I can't find it on the website to even like show you, but there's no exams that you're allowed to take January 1 through January 14th. Exams come back after the blackout January 15th. Now, one of the interesting things, and let me see if I can bring this up, is all of the exam vouchers now are 2 attempts. And I haven't seen that anywhere either. Like maybe I missed an email because I was, out and about all of December. So maybe I missed it. But if you look here, where's my screen shares? Present, share screen, window. There it is. Okay. All right. So if we go over here, certifications, schedule your certification exam. Buy an exam voucher. Let's say I'm just going to click one. What do I have? No, I don't have a CPB. Okay. And you go next. It used to ask if you want the 1 attempt or the 2 attempt. They are all 2 attempts now. They have eliminated the 1 attempt. I don't know if that's because it was just it was like it wasn't cost effective, like too many people were I don't know what was going on there. But it looks like now they only have the 2 attempts. Like you have to buy the 2 attempt package. You can't buy like the slightly cheaper 1 attempt. And there might have been a lot of customer service issues that it was just a nightmare between the 1 attempt, 2 attempt issue. So yeah, so they're going with the 2 attempts. I mean, if you want to buy an exam voucher right now, it might not be a bad time to do it because they're including practice exams and the study guide, which I thought would have been the digital study guide. It's not. They're like actually shipping it out. Like I wanted I wanted the digital study guide, and they're like, here, we're shipping one out for you because I want to know what's going on with these exam centers, and the only way I can find out what's going on with the exam centers is to take an exam. So I scheduled, I think, the dermatology exam. Yeah, Victoria, you have 2 prepaid CPTD electronic exam vouchers. So I have these 2 exam vouchers for the dermatology exam. So I'm going to go as soon as I can so I can report back what the process is like. Now, obviously, I can't take my phone, record. I'm not recording anything within the exam center. But just to be able to talk you through like what the process is like at these new exam centers, at least my personal experience working with them. But you can't even schedule them right now. So because that of the blackout period and everything, you can only schedule right now the live remote proctor. They won't even let you schedule the in-person exam centers. From what I heard from the customer service lady at the AAPC, she says that you will not be able to even schedule them till that blackout period is over January 15th. So once January 15th hits, assuming that the AAPC website doesn't crash from a flood and customer service doesn't just crash too, and it's a 4-hour long wait to get through, which could happen. Fingers crossed it doesn't. I'm not saying I hope it happens. I'm saying there's a risk there. That's when you're going to be able to start scheduling those in-person exam centers is January 15th. So again, I will report back and kind of see how that goes. But yeah, right now they're all the 2 attempty ones. Definitely let me know what you guys think about that. Do you like kind of just keeping everything to the 2 attempts? Or did you like the idea of being able to do the 1 attempt for a slightly discounted price? I apologize. Since I'm now getting over this head cold, my throat's a little bit scratchy. So yeah. So all the exams now are going to be the 2 attempts. Now, speaking of exams, one of the other things that's changing for 2024 is because we're going to the exam centers. Excuse me. Previously, AAPC exams were hosted by local chapters, basically volunteers, right? So the AAPC has all these local chapters all throughout the world. Most of them are located in the United States, but technically the world. And the local chapters have officers in charge of them. They're in charge of the budget for the chapter. They're in charge of, educational events, member needs, etc. So one of the things that they would be required of as a local chapter is you have to have 4 exams a year. That's not going to be something that the chapters have to do in 2024. Now, the concern for the chapters is when they hosted exams, they got money from the AAPC headquarters, $10 per person that sat for an exam with them. So if they hosted 4 exams a year and they had 20 people at each exam, they would make $800. So now their concern is we don't get a lot of reimbursement for chapter meetings. Like, where are we going to make some money for the chapter so that we have things to do, like, provide snacks or have giveaways or fun stuff, raffle off a CPT book or whatever. So one of the ideas that they are working on right now, I'm not intimately involved in all the inner workings of local chapters at the AAPC anymore, but one of the things that they're trying to do is work on getting some reimbursement to the chapters by allowing them to host review classes. I think they're still working some of this out because I've heard that they did reach out to the AAPC instructors to see who is going to be willing to host review classes for the chapters, and they can only teach review classes for credentials that they have. So if you have a CPC and a CPB and a CRC, you can teach chapter reviews on those. But if you don't have a CIC, you can't get access to and teach the CIC. They're also, I believe, looking into allowing chapter officers, if they go through a specialized training, to teach the review classes. It sounds like the review classes are finally getting scaled down to like 4 hours instead of it being like this whole 8-hour, let's just run through the whole CPC curriculum in a shorter period to like cram it all down in there. So I don't know that everyone has been aware of this, but if you are, let's say, an AAPC instructor, you can teach a review class at the local chapter and split the profits with the chapter. So let's say someone comes to me and says, hey, Victoria, can you teach the CRC review class at our chapter? I could say, hey, yep, I've got that material. I'm a licensed instructor. We'll charge $50. I'll get 25. The chapter will get 25. And if we agree on that, that's fine. It has to be an agreement with the chapter. So I'm not quite sure what's going to go on, like if the officers are going to be doing review classes and getting approved to do review classes, like if they're allowed to split in that profit from the review class, or only the instructor. So I think there's definitely some things to keep an eye on there as far as what they're going to allow with who is allowed to teach review classes, what review classes they're allowed, what materials they're allowed. Because we know there's places out there where they've kind of developed their own variation of that sort of review or credential review or, type of coding review. So are they going to allow that? Are they then not allowed to get approved as a review class, but they could maybe teach a outpatient coding workshop? I don't know what's going to go on there. So I think it'll be kind of an interesting thing to keep an eye on. And yeah, I think local chapters is going to have a transformative year in 2024 with things. So we've got some questions coming into the chat. CPT book, can I use the CPT book 2023 in 2024? Please help me. Let me pull up exactly what it says on the AAPC for you. Can I use? Okay. That is a forum post. Here we go. Support with books. Blah, 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 blah. And then we'll go back to over here. Full screen. Okay. So if we look in the AAPC website, it has this in a couple of different places. And this one, it says, what year's book should I use? The code sets are based on current year. They're updated every year. All AAPC exams are based on the current calendar year's code sets. So we strongly suggest you use the current year's books. The previous calendar year's books may be used on an exam, but you would be at an obvious disadvantage doing so. The upcoming year's books are not allowed for exam use. The exams are updated every January for the new code sets. So the reason that they have this little tidbit in here is because excuse me. Right now, all of us are using the 2024 ICD-10-CM. 2024 ICD-10-CM, however, will not be in the exam until January 1 of 2024 because they don't update the exams until January. So you can't use 2024 books until 2024. 2023, you can use your 2023 books. You can also use the previous calendar years, one previous calendar year. So, like even here it says, codes for books from 2024 may not be used on 2023 exams. So yeah, you can still use your 2023 book in 2024. However, any of those updates won't be in there. Now you can write some of the updates in if you like. Pertinent ones, there were time changes for the outpatient office visits. And then I would just kind of check the CPT updates lists if you have any. I know Codify, if you have access to like a Codify program, they usually have like a listing in there somewhere of all the codes that have changed. Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people here are saying the years must match. No. You can use the prior calendar years. It's just that it's not recommended that you use the prior calendar years. One prior calendar year. So in 2024, you could use 2023, but you can't use 2022. What would you recommend tip and exam prep for CPMA? Let's see here. I would just recommend going through the study guide, and then they used to have a cool listing on the website of like where you could put of other places to look. I have a CPMA course. I do not have a CPMA review. I'm probably going to be revising some of my strategy for courses in 2024. More to come on that because there's a lot of different directions I'd like to go in, and I don't like to overpromise and underdeliver. I know a lot of people are already upset because I haven't made that E&M sock puppet video yet. But yeah, 2024, it sounds crazy, but I'm having like this weird identity crisis just because there's so many different ways I can go with coding and the business, and the YouTube channel is always going to be here, and what I do on the YouTube channel, it's just the extra stuff surrounding my business now, like what direction I want to go in there. Where do you suggest we look for the updates? So if you go into a lot of the local chapters are having sessions on the 2024 updates. I don't think the AAPC put anything. Oh, there might be an article in Healthcare Business Monthly, now AAPC, the magazine, that goes over the top ones, because I know Lee or Renee usually write something about the code updates. Check in the magazine and see if they have a listing of the top updates for codes in there. But I have one, I believe, in Codify. Sometimes my Codify doesn't like to log in correctly. Complete coder, resources, find a job, AAPC, the magazine, Codify. Let's see if it does it, or if it's just going to tell me I can't log in. Okay, cool. Yeah, so if you have access to Codify, they here have their upcoming changes. So you can download like a whole list of everything that's new and updated if you have access to Codify, which I know they've been pushing for a lot more members. Go wickless with Mel. How long, just an estimate, can it take for me to self-teach? As previously with absolute medical coding, the cost was too much at the moment, so I have the basics down. If you have the basics down, I mean, if you already have a good foundation, maybe 3 months. I would recommend the step-by-step medical coding books. Those are my personal favorite. They're the ones that I used to teach with at my tech school when I used to teach in the tech career business school setting. um, Oh, when should you check back for updates for the 2024 CPMA course? The CPMA course should be updated in the next week or two. I already am issuing the 2024 books. I don't know that there were substantial changes. I know just the E&M time changes would probably have to be reviewed for updates. Let's see here. Okay, step by step. So, I'm going to have to get new ones now. Anyway, these are one second. Here we go. The step-by-step book is probably my favorite one for learning medical coding. So get that book if you can. I don't know if the 2024 edition has been issued yet, but Buck's step-by-step medical coding is a good one. And if you'll notice, like when I went here into my library in bookshelf, because I love keeping everything in ebook. If you purchase the ebook version or the special paper version that has it included, there's a course included in this book, which is like super cost effective. Let's see, sign in. Hold on one second. I'm going to do some logging in stuff here. Oh, come on. You would think by now I would just be able to like scan my thumbprint and it would log into everything and anything for me. Invalid username. Password has expired. Oh, that would be why. Okay. Now it's gonna let me in. Okay, cool. So you can see here that there is a course that you can purchase with the step-by-step books. So if you want to self-study, you can actually have like, it's not, the world's greatest course. It's not lecture style, but it does have some really cool information in there. Quizzes, self-practice, all kinds of stuff in there. So you can assess if you're doing well on your studies with medical coding if you want to self-study, or if you just want to supplement your materials. Maybe you got something through a local college that's kind of like, like some of those ed2go things that are kind of, you pull out of the box, and they can be a little rough, but they're good for that foundational stuff. Like if you want to supplement, I would look towards the step-by-step books, and you can get the one that includes the courseware. I think you can rent the book too, but I don't think you can rent the course. What do you know about billing and coding issue the United States? For example, do the training experience match if we move to Canada or the United Kingdom? No. They use different code sets and have different reimbursement systems outside of the United States. So if you get trained as medical billing and coding and get your CPC in the United States, it doesn't transfer to Canada. It doesn't transfer to England. It doesn't transfer to Australia. It's just for the United States. Because, there's similarities, but the CPC is not like for use outside of different countries. They do have different certifications that the AAPC is branching out now that are country specific outside of the United States. But check out AAPC Global. I think that's where they have that information. Yeah, outside, yeah. John, yeah, did you see my StreamYard mug? I actually met the people at StreamYard a few months ago at a conference. And they gave me a bunch of fanny packs. They helped me with some of my setup, so it was pretty cool. Used for supplement for training guidelines in the CPMA exam. My suggestion would be the CPMA study guide from the AAPC. I also recommend, I think CCO still has a blitz for the CPMA. Let's see what we got here. Christmas sale. Review blitzes. There we go. Yeah, check the CCO blitz. I think I recommended this to one of my coworkers a few years ago, and it worked out really well for her. So that's a good one, especially if you can get it on sale. The CCO blitzes, I like those because they're kind of more than a review class, but less than a full course. So I like them. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the exam centers are going to work out for 2024. I know I have one that's not too far from me, maybe like 45-ish minutes. But it sounds like some people, when they're in different locations, they have to travel quite a bit to get to some of these new locations. So I know the AAPC is definitely open to some discussions about what's going on there and if they need to add in some supplements, but we'll see. We shall see. I know a lot of people in the chapters, they're like, I love hosting the exams. I've worked with some chapter officers that they're like, that's my quiet time. I can kind of sit there, and while everyone's taking their exam, I can just kind of peek up and work on my quilting or whatever. And I was never the biggest fan of having to proctor the exams. Like everyone always wanted to do them so early, and you had to get up so early on the weekend, and that absolutely killed me. I did not like having to get up early on the weekends. How do you see addresses on the exam location? They do have that on the AAPC website now. Let me see if I can bring it up for you. Prepare for your certification exam. Let's see here. Which certification is right for you? Here we go. Schedule your certification exam. Buy exam voucher, redeem, compare, find a test center. It's right here on the website now. So when you go to take your exam, they have the test sites here. So you can find the locations broken down by state. Like my state, for example, Pennsylvania, there's a lot less exam sites in PA than there were local chapters. So for example, Lancaster was a big one people went to. That's not on the list. Hershey isn't on the list. They've got the big heavy hitters, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. Allentown is where I'll likely be going to take my certification exam. But yeah, some of the states don't have a whole lot of locations. New York has a ton. Carolinas. So yeah, there's definitely locations. It's just they might not be as easy and convenient as maybe people are used to. But considering what some of the other healthcare professionals have to go through, CRNPs, PAs, LPNs, like I think it's fairly on par with that. There's something else I wanted to say about exam locations. So if you're ever curious what the test looks like, there's a little button here on the Major website says take a sample test. So you can go ahead and get a little sneaky preview of what the test looks like. It's not going to be the coding test. It's just kind of like the format of this is what the exam application looks like. So it shows you like that there's going to be, a calculator. And this is like here, I talk about the notes thing and how you can write in your notes. So I always say in here, you can do things like your process of elimination, A, B, C, D, and then just write in like, okay, maybe I remember that this is the code, not E119, or maybe I want to write down, oh yeah, this is diabetes, no complications. Or if I want to just do my process of elimination and I want to say, oh, I know definitely it's not B, I could just like put an X there and put an X here, make myself a little note this way. That's how I would do it if I was making notes for my exam within the exam application itself. So yeah, if you want to like get familiar with it, you can do that. I don't know. I've not done this take a break thing. I don't know if that just alerts the proctor or whatever, but I know when you take any breaks for any of the AAPC exams, the time does not stop. So I don't know if they've disabled that on their platform or what the deal is there. I think there is also on the AAPC website. Oh, if you need ADA combinations, there is a link here on the website if you need that. So you have to get I believe a form from a clinical person describing exactly what your limitations are and what kind of accommodations you need as far as the exam goes. What are job opportunities after getting CPCA credentials? You can work a lot of medical revenue cycle jobs, medical accounts receivable, coding specialist, charge entry, payment posting. Let's see, coding coordinators, coder 1. But yeah, a lot of coding jobs or coding adjacent jobs. And by coding adjacent jobs, I mean coding jobs that where your day-to-day job is not coding charts, but you do use those skills that you acquired in medical coding training. Are notes allowed in the CPT books? Absolutely they are. So let me take a look here. You can write notes. You can write reasonable notes. You cannot write an entire other book into your book. What's allowed in our books? CPC exam. Let's see if I have it. Oh my gosh, I love it. This makes me laugh. So I Googled what's allowed in our books for CPC exam. Number 1 video, Victoria. Number 2 video, Victoria. Let's see. Here we go. What's allowed in our books? So this is what the AAPC has, and I like to reference the official AAPC website because people will try to question me and say, no, my instructor said blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, it says on the website that handwritten notes are acceptable. Hold on, move this over. Handwritten notes are acceptable in the coding books only if they pertain to daily coding activities. Questions from the study guides, the practice exams, or the exam itself are prohibited. So you can't write your study guide in there. You can't, now all the exam vouchers are apparently 2 attempts. So you can't take the exam and then just be like, I'm just going to write all the questions in my CPT book. That's not permitted. You can insert tape or paste or glue tabs as long as the intent of the tab is to earmark a page with a word or number, not supplement information in the book. Altering, whiting out, painting, or printing over pages within the code books to supplement information is prohibited. They did actually have some issues with people whiting out large marketing pages and so forth and writing special notes in their books. So they outlined now that that's not permitted. You can't white out or paint over an entire advertisement page in your CPT book and then write in an entire orchestra of other medical coding notations. Oh yeah. So you know what? It's funny. I got the ultimate career pass over the summer and I've still not even finished one course in it. I should probably finish one and then go take the Durham one since I have to take the Durham exam at the exam center. Thank you for mentioning that to me because I totally forgot that I had done this. Yeah, the all access career path. I gotta click through, I think, and finish them. Yeah, cheating and plagiarism have been issues in the past, yeah, and I don't think there's ever going to be a 100% perfect thing. It's kind of like the CEUs, people will, jump through a million hoops and be like, "Oh, well, I think someone might have logged on to our chapter meeting and they didn't actually pay attention and blah, blah." You can't police every single aspect, you have to have some sort of faith in people that they're gonna do the right thing, right? Um, so nothing I think the AAPC will be 100% foolproof, but we have to make sure that we're doing everything we can to protect the integrity of the exam. Things like making sure that people aren't bringing in, um, watches that can transmit data and that someone's gonna start flashing, coding tips onto them. Which reminds me, I don't know that I officially told you guys this. Da 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 da, drum roll. If any of you are heading out to HealthCon in Vegas in 2024, I will see you there. I am, let's see, where am I? Probably I think they do it alphabetical by first name, so I'm probably just about the last one. There I am. So I will be presenting in 2024 at HealthCon in Las Vegas in April. My presentation will be on actually personal branding, which I'm really excited to bring to HealthCon and bring my unique perspectives on it to some of the attendees of the conference. I think I got a fairly decent spot. I am a little worried that we're not going to have enough seats in it. So if you're planning on going and you want to see my presentation, make sure that you get to the, oh my God, look at Gabe. He's so cute. Make sure you get there pretty quickly because it might fill up. 6F is the one I'll be presenting Tuesday, April 16th. So we're going to be talking about personal branding. I'm going to talk about all things social media, different ways to promote yourself on social media. If you are someone who is just trying to promote yourself as a coder, or if you're building a business in this field. And then also, LinkedIn, a lot of LinkedIn strategy and stuff. So I'm really excited to work on this presentation. But yeah, it's make sure that you get a seat because I don't know how many other people are presenting at this time and how big my room is going to be. What was my first coding job? So I graduated from Reading Area Community College with a certificate as a medical insurance billing specialist. My first healthcare job was working charge entry. I worked charge entry for a couple of years, got certified as a coder, went to work at a tech school doing education. I taught medical coding classes in the evening. So I was working charge entry and then also teaching classes in the evening. Switched my day job over to accounts receivable. And then my first actual coding job, I didn't get till I was probably in the industry for like 3 years or so. And that was working as, I think they just called it coding specialist. And I coded for hospitalist services. For some reason, I can never seem to escape hospitalist services. I have tried many times, but they always wind up coming back to me somehow. So I've worked with hospitalist services, for, oh God, I think almost every organization that I've worked for. So like 4 or 5 organizations at this point. So that was my first coding job. I coded hospitalist services, enjoyed that. And then I started doing some surgery, and then I got into plastic surgery, which is my specialty. Can a new coder work by setting their own time? Typically not. Most coding jobs, they want you to have structured hours. You will find some contract positions where they'll maybe say that you have to work a certain amount of hours in a week. But generally speaking, especially if you're a new coder, you're not going to have a lot of work flexibility as far as I'm going to start at 6 and then work till 8 and then work from 10 and then till 11. They're going to want you to set a time. They're going to say, hey, we want you to work from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. every day. If you need to vary from that, let us know. What's your advice for people starting the AAPC course starting on January 10th? Just pay attention to the course. Do all of the work, questions, practice questions, practice. Oh my gosh. Ada says, I had to ask for ADA reasonable accommodations for my exam, and the proctors were scared on my insulin pump that I had to wear on my chest to be able to be seated for so long that they inspected the pump. Oh my gosh. That's kind of crazy. I'm sorry that happened to you. That must have been a little nerve-wracking, I can imagine, on an exam day. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure what question that you've asked previously. You can contact hello@contempocoding.com, and I can, if it's something that I can help with, I will do my best to respond. I've been watching your videos and also talking to people on Reddit. Oh, well, that's a big part of your problem is Reddit. I don't know that anyone on Reddit is ever positive about anything, are they? Lots of people are telling me this career is nearly impossible to get into now because the job market is so saturated. You definitely have to have a strategy in order to get into medical coding, but I will tell you, it's not easy. It's not like getting into nursing where it's like, hey, I've done my clinicals and I've got my LPN and now I'm ready to go be a nurse. It's not that easy. You do have to have a lot of things in a lot of ducks in a row. And I think the reason it's so saturated is because people have seen this as this quick fix, like, oh, medical coding, it's this thing I can learn in just a couple of weeks and I'll be all ready to go. And I was just talking on a live stream the other day, like I've had people that I've met through friends that have personally told me like, oh, I did train in medical coding, years ago because I saw the magazine ad, oh, hey, work from home, be a medical coder, you can save on daycare costs because you'll just be working from home, and they weren't able to find jobs because their impression was, oh, well, I'm going to be able to stay home and watch my 5 kids while I'm doing this job. And that just wasn't the reality. We have a lot of productivity standards. We have a lot of accuracy standards, and the job isn't for everyone. If it's a fit for you, it's a fit for you. But don't force a square peg into a round hole if this is not the career for you. And you don't think that, the juice maybe is going to be worth the squeeze, then look into some other avenues. Yeah. And I don't want to deter anyone from medical coding, but it truly isn't for everyone. There's a lot of medical records that you have to look at. There's a lot of policies. There's a lot of keeping up to date with guidelines, and not everyone wants to do that. Some people are better just working with their hands or crafting things. And yeah, so it's a lot. So it has to be something that you're willing to do. So this is interesting. Reddit is such a huge misinformation portal. Yeah, it absolutely is. Because I do lurk on the medical coding Reddit. I do lurk there, I will tell you. And I wonder if a private Discord server would be better. There might be. I know there are some out there. So this is interesting. I was at a conference in October, and there was a networking room in there, and it was I don't want to disclose all of my secrets, but it was a non-healthcare coding type of thing. And I met this lady in the networking room. There was just a networking room with chairs, and you can go and meet other people in the industry. And this lady's like, I'm like, what do you do? And she's like, oh, well, I work for a company, and what we do is we make an AI bot version of you that you can use in like your Discord server, and it will respond as you. Will program it with like all of the content that you've created, all of your information will like basically download your brain into this bot, and then people can interact with the bot on your Discord server, and it saves you time because all of the things that they ask you automatically programmed in. And I'm like, that is not going to work in the industry that I'm in. There's just no way, because people would go in there and they'd be like, hey, Victoria, I'm getting denials from Geisinger, and we're coding this code and this code and this code, and the bot would just got probably blow up trying to interpret medical billing and coding. That would be, but could you imagine? That would be really cool, though. That would be really cool. I'm sure it would be great for like people who are working in, you know, bake shops or, gaming or something that's not not crazy like medical billing and coding is. Yeah, yeah, I know, yeah, what Discord is just it's blowing up, and did it wind up getting bought out by Microsoft? I feel like I know I heard that a while ago that Discord was gonna get bought up by Microsoft, and I was worried because every time I have to log on to anything Microsoft, it's a big ol' hassle, and I don't wanna have to do that. Yeah, I use my Discord for 2 things, Pokemon Go. Oh gosh, I'm losing my camera. Pokemon Go and Midjourney, those are the 2 things I use my Discord for. Well, yeah, at least thank God you passed the exam because that would have been the worst if you'd have, like, had to go through that stress and then on top of it, like, not pass the exam and then be like, "Oh my gosh, I have to worry about taking that all over again." But yeah, I think, I've been trying to figure out how I feel about the exam attempts thing and how it's all 2 attempts now, and I don't know. I'm curious if that's gonna change anything if people are like, "Oh, well, if I have 2 attempts, I'm" because I'll tell you, I was proctoring. Ooh, gosh, I'm flickering. I proctored an exam once where the gentleman had the unlimited exam attempts. So sometimes the AAPC has these packages. Oh my gosh, I'm flickering out. Um Sometimes the AAPC has these packages where you can pay and it's like this all inclusive. You get the course, you get the exam materials, you get study guides, practice, everything, and then they'll include unlimited exam attempts, which I think is technically limited to like 20 or something like that. I don't know. But in any case, this guy had the unlimited exam attempts package. So he wasn't even done with his course, but he had a weekend to blow. So he figured, I'll just come in and take the exam and see what it's all about and, like, what's on it. Didn't bring any of his books and just, like, had to borrow books from people that happened to have extras or whatever, and just sat there and just kinda, like, mocked his way through the exam because he knew he could just take it as many times as he liked. So I'm curious now to see if there's gonna be some people There we go. Okay. Now I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to restart. Uh, I've added on some new equipment and I think it's upsetting my computer a little bit. So I have some stuff to supplement the stuff that I've already supplemented. Anyway, um, but yeah, I'm curious about how everything is going to change with the 2 exam temps, if people are going to be more akin to going in almost to be like, "Oh, well, I'm just gonna kind of throw away this first attempt just to kinda see what's going on," and then go with, like, a second attempt for, like, this is the real one this time, so, yeah. Sorry about missing out, yeah. Yeah, I think that would be a customer service nightmare trying to figure that out if they were offered 2 attempts, but it's a partial refund if they passed the first one. Let's see. Discord is better than Reddit. Okay, so I only was gone for a minute, so that's good. But any case, yeah, it's 3 o'clock now, and I know we're all itching to get started on the weekend. I might have to change the day for live streams for 2024 only because on Fridays I usually do personal training, and then it's a stretch for me to have to get done with training, shower, get over to my office to do the live stream. So I might have to switch it over to either, well, I already post my video on Wednesday, so it might have to be Monday or Wednesday. We'll see. I don't want to step on the toes of too many other people that are doing things on certain days. But um yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I've got some cool stuff coming for 2024 with the channel. Lots of updates, some ICD-10-CM stuff, some CPC review stuff. Very excited for that. So I will see you guys again next year. And until then, just keep on coding on.